The Star Trek Next Generation Playmates action figure line made a lot of different figures, but let's look at 10 figures that we didn't get. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video. Today we're going to do a part 2 of a video I did probably a little over a year ago, where I looked at 10 Playmates Star Trek Next Generation figures that never got made that should have. And now with a new license deal between Viacom and CBS and Playmates, I guess that's who owns the rights to Star Trek now. I can't keep up. Anyway, a new deal with Playmates, new Star Trek toys are on the way. And who knows, being that retro is so in style now, maybe they'll go back and make figures from the old Playmates line that we never did get. One can hope so. Now before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe to That Junkman Live channel. Links in the description below. This is where you get clips from the live streams or get to see the live streams live. And also, if you hadn't checked it out, Junk Room at night. And that's when me and my buddy Russ do a live stream. That's just a lot of fun. I mean, you're missing a lot of gems if you're not watching it, like this clip here.
Why is my back wet?
I still say that. Nobody gets that reference.
That's a great reference.
I came out of...
So go over to the live channel, link in the description below, and subscribe to the live channel if you haven't yet. You don't want to miss that. Now before we look at 10 figures from the line we didn't get, let's recap the video I did a little over a year ago, because I don't want to not talk about that and somebody says, why you mentioned this? It's because it was on the other video. So here's a quick rundown of the figures we mentioned in the first video.
So do we really need another Picard one? Well, I think so. At least Kanan. And that would be Dr. Beverly Crusher's assistant, Alyssa Ogawa. And this was also a key character in Star Trek. It really helped shape and develop the character of Worf. Although we didn't see him much, when we did see Mr. Moat, the barber, on The Next Generation, it was always a delight. Yeah, he's kind of an a-hole, but wouldn't this make a great 3-pack? So why not give us a figure of Data's daughter, Law? But we should have got a figure of Commander Tomalak. Shelby was brought onto the Enterprise due to her expertise dealing with the Borg. Moriarty appeared in 2 episodes as a hologram.
Okay, so now we got that out of the way. Now what are some other Star Trek figures that we didn't get? And I'm sticking just to the Next Generation right now. And one I'm not going to mention is that female Vulcan that was part of the Enterprise's crew that just disappeared after 1 episode. And then a few episodes later, Worf's girlfriend comes to town, which is a Klingon that looks suspiciously just like the Vulcan that disappeared. No one ever questioned a thing. Anyway, let's get into the top 10. Now, these aren't really in any kind of order. I just want to do 10 of them. So let's start at the top of the list with O'Brien's wife. Wait, she was the wife of Klinger on Aftermath, right? Or am I just some racist that think all Asians look alike? Anyway, O'Brien's wife. Now, they did make a figure of her character for Deep Space Nine, but we're sticking with the Next Generation here. It would have been nice to see her put into the line of Next Generation. She does appear on a few episodes anyway. Next up, controversial one, Wesley Crusher. Now we did get a Crusher action figure in the Next Generation Playmates line, but he was dressed in his Starfleet uniform. I want a figure of him in his rainbow suit. Come on, if you're going to recreate season 1, you've got to have Crusher in his rainbow suit. Now let's get into a cool villain, Baran. Who is Baran? Well, he's from that 2-part episode, Gambit. Now, I don't hear many people talk about this episode. I really like this episode, Gambit. I don't know what the fan base thinks of it, but I really like this one. It's when Picard goes undercover as this artifacts dealer or something, and Riker goes undercover as a bad guy. It's a really good 2-part episode from the final season. And they made a figure based on the Picard from that series, but they need a bad guy to go with it. So Baran would be the one I would choose. It would be cool if they did his whole crew, but I'm not doing a list of 200 different characters. So Baran. And what's so cool about this figure also? Well, that character is played by Richard Lynch. Now you may say, who is that? Well, I'm sure you know his face. Hard to grow up in the 80s without knowing this guy. Okay, number 7. And this one, I didn't know his name. Sorry, I could have looked it up on Google, but I didn't have time for all that. Could have called my friend Captain Foley and said, hey, what's this guy's name? And he could have told me, I'm sure. He would know. I'm just going to call him Camel Toe Man. This guy right here. We need a figure of the guy I refer to as Camel Toe Man. Just because it'd be a stupid looking figure and I get to tell people, hey, look at my camel toe, the action figure. sure you can agree with that. What about a Cardassian? One of the most popular episodes of Chain of Command. You know, the one with Picard's like, there are 3 lights! Or was it 4? I can't remember, 3 or 4. But anyway, it had the Cardassian bad guy on there, and we need a figure of him. Sure, we got a Cardassian in the regular line. Sure, they kind of all look alike, but we need this guy. It's from a great episode. He could even come with maybe some lights that are like 3 lights, and you can hang them up and have Picard say, there are 4 lights! Oh, whatever he says, I can't remember. And one cool thing about this figure is David Warner. Don't know David Warner? What am I going to do with you people? Didn't you see Time After Time? It's David Warner. I wish I could have seen him in Star Wars as an evil Imperial guy. He just looks like a good Imperial bad guy for Star Wars. But we're talking Star Trek. Number 5, Armus. Who is Armus? You don't remember Armus? It's the only bad guy in the series to kill off a main character. And it killed Tasha Yar. It's that oil slick blob looking thing. Make a cool figure. You could have it kill Tasha Yar over and over again. And here's one I hope I'm saying right. Kavis Jevago. I'm sure I said that wrong. This guy is known as the Collector. He's the guy that kidnaps Data because he wants to have him in his own collection. I think it would be cool to have a collector in a series of toys you're supposed to collect. Just ironic. You have to have that figure. And you know how they did a war figure and it came with a little Alexander that wasn't really like a figure. It's more like a PVC, just still posed. Didn't really do anything. I think they should take that concept and make a Richard Picard figure that comes with a Rene Picard. That's right, Captain Picard's brother and his little nephew, who died in a fire, according to the Generations movie. Now, Picard in the movie Generations could go anywhere in time he wants to and save the little guy, but he decides not to. He decides just to go back in time 30 minutes. That's going back to save his nephew. But anyway, Richard Picard, just because I like that name, Richard Picard with a Rene action figure. A boy named Rene. I haven't heard of a boy named Rene since Rene Belloc. Okay, let's move on. Lee Brohams. Who is this? Never heard of this character, right? I hate this character. This was... Okay, first episode, she was just a hologram that Geordi LaForge fell in love with. And then she finally, a couple episodes later, maybe a couple seasons later, shows up on the Enterprise in real form. And Geordi, of course, has a crush on her because he remembers her from the hologram. And she turns out to be a stuck-up bitch. And I just hate this character. So maybe this one shouldn't be on the list. But being that she appeared in more than one episode, you got to throw it in there for the people that do like Leah or whatever her name is. I think they tried to, by the end of the episode, make it look like she's a little bit more friendly. But I don't like the look of her. Something about it, it's just one of those looks. She just looks like a bitch. And that's the character she's playing, so they got her, maybe they wanted her to look like that. I don't know. Nothing against the actress that plays her. I just never liked that character. And I guess I was hoping for some kind of love story for Geordi and her, but I never saw her again after that second episode she was in. And before we get to the number 1 spot, we're going to talk some more figures. Box sets. Now, they did some box sets in the original line, and I came up with 3 box sets that I think would have been really cool for them to make. First up, it's just a 2-pack. The Worf brothers. I guess it's the Moog brothers. I don't know what you would call them. They would come with Worf's brothers. Now you could throw a Worf in there, or maybe Alexander when he came back from the future as an adult, if you want to make it a 3-pack. But you got to have Worf's brother, Kern. I think that was his name, Kern. You want to have him and his human brother, Nikolai. I hope I got these names right. Nikolai. You want to have these two. I think that'd be a cool box set to have. Another cool box set I think would have been cool to have, Lower Decks. A great episode. This show focuses on some of the background characters, the Lower Decks, people that's not officers of the show. And it's a very good episode. When you tell people about it, that it focuses not on the main crew, but the underlings, you think, oh, that sounds boring, but it's really good. If you've never seen it before, it's really good the first time you watch it. So I think a box set, I can't remember these characters' names, but anyway, a box set of those 3 or 4 characters from the Lower Decks, those ensigns, would have been kind of cool to have. Another box set I would do, I would call it Because They're Famous. So when you take actors not known for being in Star Trek, but were on Star Trek. You could have the little girl played by Kristen Dunst, have her as an action figure. You could have Ashley Judd's character, she was on like 2 or 3 episodes, have her as an action figure. And who knows, maybe if we get lucky, we could have a Melloway Winona Judd action figure, just for the fun of it. But the other one in the box set would be Kelsey Grammer, who appears in yesterday's Enterprise. That would be fun. There's a couple more you can throw in, like the girl from X-Men and some other ones you can throw in there just for the fun of it. And the last one of the box sets I would do is Picard, Ensign Ro, and Guinan as kids. Remember the episode where they turned into kids? I know it's a silly concept. It's a weird episode. It's not that bad. It's not that good. It's just a mediocre episode that you throw on when you get nothing else to watch. But Picard, Ro, and Guinan became children. They could do a box set of that because no one's going to buy a child Picard, a child Ro, or a child Guinan single on cards. You have to put them in a box set if you want to sell them. But that's my look at some box sets they should have done. And now, who's the other figure I think they should have made a figure of, or hopefully they will in the new Playmates line? Well, it's one that was on a lot of episodes. Sometimes it was a boy, sometimes it was a girl. You never knew what you would get. And I'm talking Spot, Data's cat. Why didn't we get Data's cat? I'll never understand. And hopefully, with Playmates back in the Star Trek business, we'll get Data's cat. Anyway, that's a look at some figures I hope Playmates comes back and makes and adds to the line, or that they should have made in the 90s. Let me know. There's some from the Playmates line you wish they made also? Let me know that and more in the comments below. And as always, thumb up some of you like my content, subscribe to the channel, and beam me out of here.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.